So these were a series of photos that I shot with Dean Dickinson back in 2003 and wanted to ride a bunch of pools, and so we really just did pool missions every weekend and on the weekdays sometimes. I was working for 20 BMX magazine at the time, and I was shooting a lot of film for some weird reason. I had a Canon EOS 1 and a bunch of black and white film that I had from college, so a lot of these were shot on Kodak Tri-X 400 speed film. This one you're looking at right now was out at Salton Sea. Salton Sea is this lake out east of San Diego and Riverside. It was supposed to be a kind of like a resort destination, and it never really panned out. So there's just a bunch of abandoned businesses, a bunch of abandoned hotels, and a bunch of abandoned resorts, which means there's a bunch of empty pools out there. So I think around 2003 there were maybe 5 or 6. Now I think there's only one left. This was one of the pools that we found. Someone had filled it with tumbleweed, and so Dean hopped in to go basically take out all the tumbleweed, and he started throwing all this stuff out of the pool and realized that there were all these big black beetles crawling all over the tumbleweed, and it was disgusting. But we didn't end up riding this one. It looked like it had a transition deep end, but it was pretty much kind of just a square pool, so we didn't end up riding it. Here's one of my favorite shots. I think this was from the Riverside pool. This is of Dean's hand. This would have been a better shot in color because this was definitely multicolored crap all over Dean's hand. He would do weird stuff like this and rub it on his shirt, and yeah, he's a unique fellow. But this was Tri-X 400 for sure on my Canon 1N, and probably shot this with a 50mm lens. This was at a tennis club that we found. Someone had ridden bikes in it. You can see it says Little Devil and 4130 tagged in the deep end. This is one of the kind of unique pools that also had like a weird hot tub next to it, and this ended up being a really good pool. I know we rode this with Kurt and Dean, and the stairs were really good that you could carve over, and we had to pump this one out. This was a pool in Riverside. I think this session was with Kurt and Dean and Fish and a couple other dudes. We had to bucket out quite a bit of this, but it was a pretty awesome pool. I think you could actually roll in from the roof too, like part of the chimney was collapsed, so you could roll right in from the chimney and then jump into the deep end. This is Kurt Rasmussen. He was with us on a lot of these missions. Kurt's actually a sheriff or a cop now, which is kind of crazy. He had a pretty wild part in Ryan Navazio's video Left Right. Rode for Sunday for a little while, and then just kind of moved on from there, and he's living the adult life. And yeah, he's a police officer, which is kind of a wild deal. But yeah, he was a trooper on all these pool missions we did. This one was shot on Canon 1 with 400 speed film. This is probably 15mm fisheye as well.